Hello, Hilltop. It's Mr. Amici again. And can you guess what sport or skill we're going to be working on today? If you saw something flying through the screen, that was a Frisbee. So we're going to be using Frisbees today and learning some Frisbee skills. Now, if you don't have a Frisbee at home, that's okay, because we're going to jump inside real quick and I'm going to show you how to create your own Frisbee with some of the items that I had listed in the instructions that we need as supplies for PE today. So let's send it to Mr. Amici inside, and we'll see you after that video for our warm-up. Mr. Amici? Hey, thanks, Mr. Amici. Great job making that Frisbee throw into the goal. He must have been practicing his skills. Are you ready to learn how to make a Frisbee at home? All right. Well, if you saw in the instructions for today's lesson, I put a list of supplies that you'll need to make your own Frisbee or Frisbees at home. I'm going to get out some of those supplies now and show you how to make your own Frisbee. Here we go. So the first thing that you would want would be some paper plates. See how paper plates already have a nice circular shape? And that's the shape we want for a Frisbee, so we can throw it and have it go through the air. So if you've already got paper plates, you're all set. If you don't have paper plates, say all you have is a piece of rectangular cardboard, you can make your own Frisbee out of this too. And here's how. I would put it down, and then I need to find something circular that I can trace. I've got this mixing bowl. See how it's a nice circular shape? So I would put my circular shape down on my piece of cardboard. And then I've got a marker that was on our equipment list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace all the way around my circular bowl. Put my cap back on. And now I'm going to show you what I made on there. See that bigger circle that I made with my marker? Now what I can do is take my scissors and I can cut along this circle, my marker line, and you'll get a shape just like this one. Now if you want to try something different and make a smaller size, you can do that same thing by making small circles, but with just a smaller item. So instead of that mixing bowl, now I've got a little red cup. So I would put it down, put my red cup over the cardboard, take out my marker, trace around, put the cap back on. And now you can see I made a few circles on there already. And I can safely take my scissors and I can cut along the lines and make a bunch of smaller Frisbees. So later on in the lesson, I'm going to show you games that you can play with the bigger Frisbees and games that you can play if you're using a smaller Frisbee. Okay? So those are if you don't have paper plates, you can cut out circles with other flat pieces of cardboard by using circular shaped items to trace around. So let's get started though on our traditional paper plate Frisbee. Now you can use just one paper plate to toss, and that could be a Frisbee. But to get them to work really well, here's a secret. You take one paper plate, a second one, and you want to flip one over and put it together like this. So let me show you. See how the inside, or the spot where you would put the food on the plates, I flip one over so they're on top of each other like this. Now we want these two to stay together. There's different ways we can get these to stay together. One way is by using tape. I've got 3 different tape options for you here. Masking tape. Now this one isn't as strong, but then there's blue tape. And probably the strongest of all those would be like a duct tape. Mine's bright orange. See how it matches my orange blanket? That's fun. So I would want to tape this. I'm going to take little strips, and making sure my plates are lined up right on top of one another, I'm going to put half of the piece of tape on one plate and then fold it over so that the other side of the part of the tape is on the other plate. It looks like I need a little more strength on this side. I think the best way, if you're going to be taping it, is to tape at least 4 strips of tape. So I'm going to go about 1 every quarter way around. So 1 here. Okay, so now I've got on 2 sides. Pull my tape. Whoop, that's a skinnier piece. Put that one on there. So I would say at least 4 pieces to hold this on. The more tape, the stronger it'll be. Okay, so I showed you some different widths that you could have of the tape. And say, oh, I'm throwing it, Mr. Amici, and it's falling apart. What could you do to fix that? Add more tape. Now this one is going to be super light, very lightweight. So it could actually be more challenging for you to control a super light Frisbee. So now I'm going to show you a way you could make a Frisbee that's a little bit heavier and a little bit easier to control. So here's our Frisbee that you have if you've got it empty in the middle filled with tape. Now I'm going to show you a second way. So I've got 2 more plates. And now look what I've got here. A pair of socks. And actually what I'm going to do is put the socks inside of the plate. I want to evenly spread them out so you can see my plate is filled now with socks. I'm going to take the other plate, flip it upside down. Oh, what do you know? This one's got a little artwork done to it. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So now I've got the plate filled with socks, and instead of taping, another option you can do is to staple your paper plate together. So on the edges, 1, go about 1/4 of the way around. Let's see if I can get this one on there. There we go. 2, 3, 4. So I stapled it 4 times now, and now it's a heavier weighted Frisbee. And I can throw on a couple more staples to make it extra strong. Now if you noticed, I've got some writing and some other things on your Frisbee. That's a cool thing about creating your own Frisbee, is then you can design how you want the outside to look. And you could even do things for school on the outside of these if you're decorating your Frisbee. Like I wrote some vocabulary words like apple, berry, and cabbage. On this side, I did a fun design, but then I also put some math problems and other numbers on there. So maybe after you make your Frisbee, You could decorate it with some vocab words you're working on, or your spelling words, or you could write some math problems on there. So then you can be playing a PE activity and practicing some of the skills for your class. Now, this is our traditional weighted Frisbee. And then I showed you our lightweight Frisbee. Not the best tape job ever, but I want to give you more time to play, less time watching me tape. But there's another style of Frisbee that you can use. And I call it a blade Frisbee. And I'm going to show you how to make one of those. But first, here it is. This is my finished one that I did with artwork. Can you notice what's different about the blade Frisbee than our traditional weighted Frisbee? There's a hole in the middle. So another way you could make a Frisbee would be to cut the middle out of a paper plate. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now you'll want an adult for this, because you're going to have to pop a little hole right in the middle of your plate. And then you're going to take some scissors, put the scissors, one prong of the scissors through the hole, and you're going to cut, turn so you can see me, all the way to the edge. And then, once you get to the edge, you start going around. I'm going around, I'm going around. And when you get to up, all the way around, it's an empty hole in the middle. Now this you can throw as a Frisbee on your own, or on its own, but it actually flies better when you put two together. So I've got a second one. Now if you want your circle to be perfect in the middle, or better than maybe I made it, you could take your marker and you could draw along the bottom so you'll feel like there's like a little lip or a curve there. And you can take your marker, turn here so you can see, and I can go around, and that will help me see while I'm cutting how to make a better circle. Cut to the end, all the way to my line, and then I'll start going around. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to keep that strong border that's on the outside of your paper plate, the perimeter, because that we still need to tape or staple. Perfect circle to the other one. Okay, I've got my two. I can put them together like this. So this was the sides that would be having food on them. I would flip one of them over so they're on top of each other. And now from this style, why don't we try the painter's tape? So maybe we'll do a strip of painter's tape on here. Hold on that side. Maybe I want to do a staple. Good. And then I can try even some more tape. These ones will be lightweight enough to where tape will hold them together just fine. Okay. Just to make it look nice, I think I'm going to do one more strip of blue. Just to make it look nice and even. Okay. And what do you know? Just like that, almost, we have made 3 different types of Frisbees for you to practice with. We've got your traditional lightweight Frisbee, which is just 2 plates, one flipped upside down on the other, and it's just held together lightly with tape. We've got the heavyweight traditional Frisbee. Remember, I put the pair of socks inside here to kind of weigh it down a little bit. And I stapled that one. And remember, you can add either some artwork or some math work, or some writing and vocab. And then you've got your blade Frisbee, I call it, where we cut the middle circle out. It almost looks like a cool thing to throw. And so we're going to practice throwing these. Back to you, Mr. Amici.